If there's one way to start off an episode, it is with hello everyone, it is I Reversal, and we just hatched a Ponyta, which is actually kind of interesting because yesterday I got the Ponyta from the card pack. If you haven't seen day number 1 of the daily vlog, go check it out. There will be a card up on the screen somewhere, and it will also be linked at the end card as a reminder, and linked in the description down below. Hello everyone, it is I Reversal. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go. Today I have quite a few errands to run. One of them is take care of this Murkrow nest on top of my head. Coming in with the 2K. Circus is still there. We got a Oshawott here. 555 is pretty bad. We got a 5K from that. But I'm not going to be hatching them today because tomorrow is the hatchathon event. So I want to save it up for then. We got a Murkrow check here. As you can see, literally everything has turned back to normal. The usual spawns, not that interesting, not really appealing to me. I will shiny check everything, of course. But yeah, today is going to be about the Buddy update in Pokemon Go. I think that Niantic did a tremendous job on this update. First off, programming all the Pokemon in the game, including the shiny forms, to appear in the overworld. That is insane to me. I cannot imagine the amount of time it took Niantic to do that. So appreciation is there. So now, seeing as we made it to the table where I did the opening yesterday, I guess it's time for another pack opening. This time I got a different pack with me. I have with me, it's once again Cosmic Eclipse, but it's a baby pack. So let's go to the bootleg setup, opening, and see what we get. I guess I gotta be careful here. It's kind of wet. And there's literally nothing because it's raining everywhere. Like it's one of those days. There's literally nothing that I can do. I've got to bring a blanket with me. So I guess what I can do is just completely opening it up. Ooh, that's unexpected. I'll just do it like this. Oh, we got the code for you guys out there. 4 to the front. Rare card right here. Here comes energy card. I'll just do it like this. Curlia. Roller Skater, Clefairy, that's kind of cool. I like this Clefairy. Unexpected, we already saw this one. Ooh, look how cute. Sleeping Tepig. Alolan Sandshrew, once again. Snorunt. Sadly, they left. He's like, please take me back. Coughing. Reverse Hollow Flabébé. Look at that. Look. Looks really nice. And Trompa. Trompa is one of those rare Pokemon as well, especially in Sword or Shield. This Pokemon, one of the most rare Pokemon out there. Sadly, it's not a foil. So let's talk a little bit about this guy, Mythical. Being introduced in Pokemon Go alongside with every other buddy, I think the system is amazing. I really am curious to know what your favorite, like, non-mythical, non-legendary Pokemon are. And I might just make a compilation of some of the funniest of these buddies out there. Tell me why they're so cool in the comments down below. What I love about this is I've been feeding mine a Puffin because I want that extra candy. Remember, I want 10,000 candy for Pidove. So what I'm actually really curious about is, you guys know those events where you need 1/4 of the distance in order to get a candy for a Pokemon? Does that stack up to this? Because if that's the case, right, that would mean if you walk 1 kilometer, you'd get 8 candy for a buddy Pokemon. That seems really broken, but in a good way. What do you think? Is that gonna be like that? Does it stack up? Considering that I have a whole bunch of footage recorded already, I'm doing a little lap around the park to see if there's any interesting spawns. And then I gotta head out, do my errands. Like, get this chopped off, and then I'll show you all the cool legendaries and mythicals in Pokemon Go as well. I do have this objective to complete for Stamp Snover. That's the last Snover, sadly. So it turns out that there's a glove right there completely shred in just going to do the right thing. Gosh, it's like a dog attacked it. Whoop. Yeah. Perfect. Washed. We got a shiny check on the apron right here. And I want to share with you, I ended up giving in because I was like, I'm taking a walk and I'm gonna go to the city center and then do some groceries and stuff. I'm gonna get this distance. I mean, this one is about to hatch, so we're gonna do all of that. We got more shiny checks, the horsey and the barboach. I don't have shiny barboach, and this one's not shiny either. Very important. Come on. Yes, more candy. Getting close to 10k. We are right now, currently at this very moment, almost a fourth there. Okay, the egg is hatching. Let's see what we get. Yes, that's awesome. That was the final egg that I got from the wintry holiday event, and it's the only Pichu that I got. And yes, I'm happy with that. That is all. It's not a shiny, but hey, beggars cannot be choosers. I got one. And that is great. Okay, I'm done at the park. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the city center, so that way I can go ahead and get my hair done. And then I'll also need to visit a friend of mine because I gotta look a little bit more fresh. So I need to get my beard shaved. And I also need to hit up a store because I actually need to buy some new socks because I needed to have some. I'm gonna go ahead and eat a little bit of GO Buns. That's the place that my friend has created. If you're ever in the city, definitely go out and grab yourself a bite to eat there. Everything is air fried, so I'm gonna grab myself a bite to eat and then I'll meet you guys back home to showcase all the legendaries and mythical Pokemon in the overworld. So I made it back home and now I'm gonna show you all the mythical and legendary Pokemon that are currently available in Pokemon Go in the overworld, kind of their behaviors and so on, going through those. Once again, if you have any suggestions for Pokemon you guys would like to see, let me know down in the comments below and I'll provide like a top 20 of your picks. Also, if you see a choice that you like, make sure you upvote that particular comment. Anyway, let's jump in. Okay, so for this section, I did 40 different clips for all different legendaries, mythicals, and their different forms. Took me quite a bit of time, so if you appreciate that, make sure you leave a like on this video. So, starting off with Mewtwo. Mewtwo, kind of funny the way it eats, rising the hand up in the air. Thought that was kind of cool. Mewtwo always catches me off guard by how big it actually is. I don't know, for whatever reason, seems a little bit smaller somehow. And then in the map, I like the way it's kind of standing and then hovering and kind of floating around, minding its own business while still being close. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. When I was feeding these three Pokemon, I thought it was really funny how the three, like one of the three most powerful Pokemon in the universe, suddenly kind of became cute and dependent when you were feeding them. I thought it was kind of nice. And then a little remark on the overworld map. When all three Pokemon, when you have them out, they fly really high up in the air and pretty often get out of range. I don't really necessarily like that, but it does kind of make sense. Kind of wish they were flying a little bit closer. But then with Ho-Oh and Lugia, it was a little bit different. They're ginormous, they're really big Pokemon. I also feel that these two legendary birds, when interacting with them, they're far more in their element. So they're kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm a mythical Pokemon. They kind of have that attitude, which I really like. And then on the map, because they're, I feel, much bigger, it kind of fits that they're higher up in the air. But that's maybe just because of the way that they look. Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. Absolutely love interacting with these three beasts. Especially Entei, because it really feels like you're interacting with a pet, maybe a dog in a sense. Also, all three of them were quite big in the overworld, and I think it's really cool to see them walk around you as if they were like protecting you. Then I have a separate section here for Regirock. The reason is that Regirock, I was really surprised with the contrast of appearances, but maybe my AR Plus was bugging out in some sort of way. When interacting with Regirock, it was absolutely gigantic in AR Plus. But then in the overworld, it's smaller than your own character. So I thought it was kind of strange. Also, when it was like this massive rock just dashing about in the map, I thought it was incredibly funny. So wanted to give Regirock its own little section there. And then combine Registeel, Regice, and Regigigas. Not much to say here, except that it's kind of interesting how they're eating their berries and where to pet them, I guess. Also, all three of them are kind of what you expected on the map. Registeel kind of walks around, Regice hovers in the air, which I honestly didn't even really expect. And Regigigas is just absolutely massive, and he's quite fast at the same time as well. So I really didn't have much of an expectation from the 4 Regis, but they were surprisingly fun to interact with at the end of the day. Latios and Latias are 2 Pokemon that I was really excited for seeing in Buddy Pokemon. They're also like, you know, my favorite Gen 3 legendaries out of all of them, and I was not disappointed with them. I absolutely loved their interactions. Whenever you were petting them and feeding them, they seemed really happy. And in the overworld, kind of like how they were zooming about as well. They're also kind of like high up in the air as well. Next up is Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza, which are also 3 fantastic Pokemon to see on the map and interact with. Groudon is really big and chunky, and I'm kind of always surprised to see how gigantic Kyogre actually is. And then Rayquaza is just a cool Pokemon all around. All 3 of these Pokemon are kind of like unique in the way you interact with them. And then on the map, it's just like really cool to see all 3 of them. Decided to go with the shiny forms because I'm pretty sure you guys like that, especially Rayquaza, like the snake dragon he is, just floating around like that. Then we got all the Deoxys forms. All Deoxys forms are pretty similar in how they interact between each other. They're all using their hand, like they're flinging their hand about while eating the berry, which is quite funny to see. And then in the overworld, it's kind of sort of what you expect. They're just walking around. A little tiny bit disappointed with the speed form. I was kind of hoping it would be lightning fast, which it wasn't, but that's just like a little minor takeaway from that. The next up, with this update, the smaller Pokemon like Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf really won me over. I absolutely love interacting with these Pokemon because they're so tiny and cute, and whenever you're feeding them, they kind of like fly to you when you are walking away, kind of wanting a berry or that puffin. So I thought it was really quite cute. And then having all 3 of them in the map really makes it seem as if they're your buddy with how they're floating around you. So these 3 are definitely above my expectation. I didn't expect a whole lot with these 3, but at this point, whenever I'm in this recording, these 3 have been my favorite. Next up, we got Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. These Pokemon are gigantic. I thought it was really interesting figuring out where to pet them and seeing them eat. And then when having them on the map, I really didn't expect Dialga and Giratina to kind of like stand still and then hover when walking with me, while Palkia was just kind of taking those big steps, kind of looking clumsy, I guess. So that was kind of cool to see. And then the Pokemon that surprised me the most, which was Origin Form Giratina. I was really curious to see him eat, and then when he did, I never expected him to open up his mouth like that. I literally had no idea what was going on. It looked like a transformer in some way, shape, or form. So Origin Form Giratina, as a result of that, kind of one of my favorite Pokemon as well. And it looks really cool in the overworld, just floating high up in the air. Thought it was really quite cool. Next up, we got Cresselia, Darkrai, and Heatran. And finally, after taking all those pictures with Cresselia, I got the Smeargle to pop up, which is always kind of fun to see. And then also, I thought it was hilarious how the almighty Darkrai would be chasing after a pineapple berry when you were walking away. I just thought that was really funny. And then Heatran, it's kind of like a weird Pokemon to me, especially on the map. When playing the Pokemon games on Game Boy and DS, you kind of always have this perspective of a Pokemon, right? And you kind of stick with that perspective over the years, but then when playing Pokemon Go, especially with Heatran in this case, they look a little bit different from what you expect. I didn't expect Heatran to look like a beetle, but that just might be me. And then, so, we arrived to the 5th generation of legendaries. Honestly, still feels kind of strange to say, but it's kind of cool that we're also very soon going to be getting a new wave, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are all 3 so different in the way that they behave, and I think that's really cool to see. Cobalion, for example, seems like a really proud Pokemon, where Terrakion kind of looks like he's a homie of sorts, like he has this warm feeling whenever you're interacting with it. It's like, hey, hang out with me, or something, I don't know. And then Virizion kind of has this, and I quote, mother figure aura around her, him, I don't even know, which all makes them very distinct and very cool to interact with. On the map also, I somehow Terrakion ended up dashing out of nowhere, which I didn't really expect. But all 3 of them kind of feel like they were protecting you in some sense, which is quite cool to see. Okay, so that is all of the legendaries done. Now, before we move on to the mythical Pokemon, as always, make sure if you guys like this video to boom, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one. I want to know your opinions. What is your top 3 of Pokemon that are not legendary and mythical that you would really like me to cover onto the channel? If you see a comment that you like with particular Pokemon, make sure to upvote that comment so that way I get to see it, and that way I get to compile a list with your suggested top 20. Alright, so let's move on to the mythical Pokemon. Mew, Celebi, Jirachi. These Pokemon by far the cutest, most lovable, fun Pokemon to interact with for different reasons. For example, Mew, I just love the look it gives you whenever it has that expectation when feeding the Pineapple Berry in this particular case. Celebi, my favorite Pokemon by far. Just the way it is holding the berry whenever you're feeding it is just everything. And then Jirachi, I didn't expect Jirachi to be such a fast eater, to be honest with you guys. Of course, on the map, they were all fantastic and fun to engage with. With these Pokemon in particular, I kind of noticed wanting to continue to tap on them just to get that reaction. And in overall, I think that is what makes this update so great. You really get to immerse yourself with your buddy Pokemon, and honestly cannot wait to see what future Pokemon will be looking like. For example, the rest of Generation 5, which we'll be covering onto the channel, which we'll be releasing very soon. And then there's one Pokemon on accident, which I brought out, which actually ended up being a lot of fun, which is Mime Jr. So while I show you guys how I interacted with Mime Jr., I want to take a moment to thank all the legends who take their subscription to their next level. And of course, I'm talking about the people on Patreon who support the channel. We've got George, Aditya, Roy, Brian, Jonathan, Ice Master 1001, Brenda, Julie, Ilan, Libby, Celeste, Stephanie, Joan, and Purple Haze, and of course the newest legend, Sean McQuay. Thank you all so much for the support onto the channel. So once again, what of the legendary mythical Pokemon was your favorite? Make sure to suggest your Pokemon you would like me to cover onto the channel. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. It's kind of weird, I already did the boom thing. So yeah, follow me on Twitch. I'm live every single day. If you guys want to talk about this particular video, I'll be live probably the moment this video goes live. So this has been Reversal for Pokemon Go. I'm gonna be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.